welcome to the Hugo Girl Life Day Star Wars Cookbook Special.
May the life be with you.
Because it's halfway to Life Day.
Yes, thank you for reminding me. We are halfway to Life Day, which is traditionally celebrated on November the 17th here on Earth. We're not sure how the calendar syncs up with the Kashyyyk calendar. But anyway, this episode is going to drop on May the 17th.
May the 17th be with you.
Which is halfway between Life Day last year and Life Day this year. Happy halfway to Life Day, everybody.
Thanks. I feel like I'm half full of life, so that works.
Or are you half empty of life?
Oh, see.
You need to put this mushroom stuff in you.
So we have a lot of different dishes today that we've made from this cookbook that Kevin bought for me at the Museum of Pop Culture in Seattle. Thanks, Amy. I'm Lori. And who are you?
Oh, I'm Amy.
And who are you to my right?
I'm Haley.
And who are you across from me?
I'm Anne Michelle.
Anne Michelle, special guest. Anne Michelle is going to choke up on her microphone there. That's okay. That's okay. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Oh,
Our special guest.
yes. Hey, let's see. I'm a lawyer by day, a writer by night, and I also do reviews for Nerds of a Feather. And I have a short story in a collection and hopefully a novel coming out next year. So excited to be here. And I'm a nerd blurred. Yes.
Thank you so much for joining us. We've been wanting to have you on, so Halfway to Life Day was a perfect celebration reason. Sorry that my dog is sitting right between you guys. The good thing about him is that he's short enough to not be able to steal your food.
I mean, he's
Can't smell
basically
cat on me.
he's like a half Wookiee. He's like, this is my day.
Well, he makes really good Wookiee noises, but I've never been able to get one. I've never been able to record one, but he very frequently lays down and goes,
I think Jeremy Merriman sounds like a porg.
who's Jeremy Baramy?
My cat.
Your beautiful cat. Yeah, she's so cute. You said she sounds like a porg? Mm-hmm. Okay, so Life Day. Does anyone know what Life Day is? Because I didn't read the preface.
I did not. I didn't.
Should I read aloud from the internet?
It's the holiday celebrated in the Star Wars Holiday Special.
Yeah, yes.
The much maligned holiday special, which I have seen courtesy of my brother. He brought it to our grandma's house on Christmas one year and we watched it. And Kevin described it, I believe, of all the movies that came out that year. It was certainly one of them.
They did an animated one fairly recently, didn't they?
Lego
Redoing
version.
the Life Day thing.
yeah.
Oh, Legos. That's what it was. Legos. Yeah.
You know, that's fun.
As much as I love Star Wars, I'm not that impressed with Wookiees. So I have not seen it. I'm just saying, I'm going to appreciate their cuisine, but I don't know a lot about them.
Oh, wow.
I
Okay.
have also not watched this special
See?
on purpose.
I watched the Lego one. It was cute.
I don't know if I knew about the Lego one. Okay, should we dig in?
I am ready.
Should we start in an order or?
Well, pickled Minnock is an appetizer, and I think Yalbec stingers are an appetizer.
Indeed.
Okay,
I'm
shall
going
we start
for
with the Minnock?
Pickled Minnock.
Let's do it.
Okay, let's do it. Well, it's very pickly.
Mm-hmm.
Very vinegary.
Tastes like ceviche.
Oh, yeah.
It does taste like that.
Kind of.
Yeah.
I wonder.
In a good way.
It's got that zing because my knocks chew on power cables, so.
Ah, exactly. So the fun thing about this cookbook is it has a little intro, which maybe I should read after I finish chewing. Has a little intro for each dish. And who is this written by? It's written by a chef who works at, can you help me? Do you know? You don't know. That's okay.
I don't have the book. Otherwise, I would have studied, but.
I just thought you knew. I just kind of thought you would know.
See, this is why our listeners are going to be so surprised because I do know most things about Star Wars.
Okay.
Not today.
Chef Strono Tuggs, and he is was head chef at Maz Kanata's castle. And he found himself feeding hundreds of rogues, rebels, pirates, and bounty hunters each day, and every single one of them had a story to tell. And yes, he is written in the dialect of Ted Lasso. So, Pickled Minnock, who says, before he got to Batu, I always assumed that Minnock weren't good for much, except for chewing through your ship's cables and leaving you stranded in the depths of space. But then, he went to Oga's Cantina, and it changed his tune. They kept a small assortment of pickled beasts on the shelf, including a wart, a swamp slug, and even a Minnock. And then he said he got a sample of a piece of Minnock and was blown away by the flavor.
Are Minocks the thing that they kick off the ship when they're inside the asteroid?
Yeah.
They look like
Yes.
big old bats.
Yeah,
Right.
okay.
That's actually why I picked this, because we just watched Empire at the Plaza Theater, and I was like, Minok, I know that word. So, that's pickled Minok.
Minok is
I
delicious.
like it. It's very good.
Oh, thanks. It's not bad.
Intensely flavored in a good way.
Yes, it's very vinegary.
How long were they pickled?
Just 24 hours, and I think it said like you can leave it like several days, but 24 hours is the minimum. So we'll see how they bloom over the next couple of days. Okay. Tell us about your Yalbecks, Haley.
Let me pull up the thing real quick that you sent me.
When you said to send you the recipe for Yalbeck stingers the other day, and I was like, oh, I just thought that was something you were making. I just thought it was like some cocktail or something, because I knew you were sailing today, so
Yeah.
I just thought like maybe you were
A
going to...
stinger's a drink and the Yalbeck's
Yeah,
a Malbec.
exactly. So I was like, oh, she's bringing a cocktail. Cool. And then I was like, oh, I just thought that's something you were making. And then you go, Yalbeck? With like 7 exclamation marks.
All right, so these are Yalbeck stingers. The holidays are the perfect time to splurge a little. Serving up a dish made from a fancy, expensive ingredient is an easy way to remind folks just how much an occasion really means. Lucky for me, my pal Doc Undar on Batu knows his stuff when it comes to rare delicacies. Last Life Day, he managed to score me a stinger of an insect queen from Yalbeck Prime. What was Yalbeck? Like, howdy. And because I knew how hard it was for him to acquire, that spectacular spike was suddenly more than just sweet and sumptuous. It was special. Of course, most of us can't afford an actual Yalbeck stinger, so I whipped up this recipe in hopes of capturing the same exquisite flavors at a fraction of the cost. Sure, they may not be the real deal, but this batch of stingers is anything but bad.
That's true. I like it.
Yeah.
It's really yummy.
They're delicious.
And made with herbs from Haley's garden.
Oh, no way.
I wandered over to the sideboard and got a second one.
So it's little baby lunchbox peppers with a mixture of cream cheese, sour cream, parsley, a little bit of mint, basil, and fresh chives from the onions that I grew myself. And, a little seasonings, but it's good.
It's really good.
Very nice.
Perfect little appetizer. Okay. Amy, you want to talk about your side?
Yes. I did not make green bean casserole.
Well, I was going to ask you, what's this when it's at home?
What I made was
I'm eating it right now. It is absolutely not green bean casserole.
It tastes like Thanksgiving. I mean, like,
yeah.
Oh my God.
I did not make green bean. I did not make green bean casserole. I made Rorschach bramble. Life Day's origins can be found in Wookiee legends about the Tree of Life, the mythical Rorschach tree from which all life supposedly sprung. Since Rorschach trees are so important to the heart of the holiday, it felt only natural to find a way to incorporate them into this collection. I guess I should be doing an accent right now. But that's where things got tricky. See? It's common knowledge that Rorschach sap can be turned into syrup, a glaze, or even a beverage, but the rest of the tree ain't renowned for being edible. It took a lot of digging, literally. But I eventually found a part of the Rorschach that had a taste I was looking for. The tips of the Rorschach's root system had just the right amount of flavor and crunch to this classic veg casserole. It's like they always say, when it comes to holidays, it's always important to remember your roots.
Little root pun.
See, these descriptions are so good because they really help you use your imagination, and it makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, more than
tips of
more than its predecessor, the Wookiee Cookbook, which is just like, here are some cookies. It's a Wookiee cookie. Creating even a slight backstory, I think, helps a little bit.
Yep.
So, because Rorschach trees on Kashyyyk are huge. They're like the big, they build their cities out of them. So trying to imagine a green bean from them, you're like, what? But he makes up a story about root tips, and I think that's clever.
That is clever.
Well, speaking of those trees, there are directions in this book to make that out of paper. And when we have our actual Life Day celebration, we will be making Life Day orbs out of gelatin. We will be making Life Day trees out of paper. And we're going to send out a Life Day card. So if you want a Life Day card, let us know because we'll mail you a Life Day card. When I read this guy, in my head I was hearing the little help guy from Jurassic Park, dinosaur. That's the voice that I hear.
Dino DNA.
Clippy from Jurassic Park.
Yes. Yes.
I guess in my head, apparently, I was hearing Sam. What's his name?
Oh, I was thinking from Big Lebowski, yeah.
yeah. What's Sam?
Sam Elliott.
Sam Elliott. That's who I heard in my head.
It's like, sometimes there's a man.
Makes me feel good knowing the dude's out there abiding.
Sometimes there's a Wookiee.
Okay. Shall we to our main dish?
This looks like a Passover dinner.
Yes. reading from her book.
It's a very big cookbook, and you're very serious.
Take it very seriously.
Yeah, this is Life Day. It's no joke.
Honestly.
Okay. So for our main dish, we have mush bloom pie. And that is not unlike a shepherd's pie, except not saucy at all. So we'll see. And I'm also skeptical of the proportion of mashed potatoes to vegetables.
There's a lot of taters, but that's not a bad thing.
I'm of the opinion there
true.
can't be too many taters.
That's true.
I like the vegetables.
It's
Very
delicious.
nicely seasoned.
Yeah, it's delicious.
Thanks. Yeah, this isn't bad. This isn't bad. I don't know that I would make it if it weren't Life Day or halfway to Life Day. But it's not bad.
But did you mash the taters yourself?
I did.
Because every time I ask my mother, the woman who gave me life, for mashed potatoes on Thanksgiving, she buys the tubs from Publix.
I almost bought the tub.
I mean, the tubs are good, and she's never wrong. But like,
Would you prefer to get a tub? Would you prefer to get a tub, or would you prefer to get a box?
Oh, tub. The tub ones are not bad, but there's just something about the heart of mashing the potato yourself. I don't know.
It's funny. I really didn't want to do it. I
So much work.
I just didn't want to do it, and then I was like,
Thank you,
have to
Laura,
turn
for
on
doing
a
it.
show to watch or something.
it wasn't.
Put on your stories.
Once it was.
That's
once
how
I was
get
done.
through it.
Once I was done, it wasn't that bad. Actually, I was like, okay, was that so bad? I said to myself.
I love it. Thank you so much.
Maybe I'll be a person who makes mashed potatoes, but I never have to make them because at holidays, my grandma always makes them. And at Friendsgiving, our friend of the pod, Todd, makes like 7 pounds of them.
He brings butter.
He brings the butter with him and then piles the butter on top. And then there are lakes of butter in the mashed potatoes. So I haven't had to lift a mashed potato finger in a decade, maybe. But today I did, and they're pretty good.
Thank you for your sacrifice.
I appreciate your recognition. Okay, let's talk about a mush bloom pie. Although Wookiees are known for their impressive skill as hunters, turns out they ain't bad gatherers either. That's likely due to the fact that their homeworld Kashyyyk has plenty of luscious plant life for them to forage. Personally, one of my favorite ingredients found on the planet's forest floor is the mush bloom, a bulbous fungus the Wookiees consider a delicacy. But be careful, these bioluminescent beauties turn toxic when they reach maturity, so you gotta make sure to pick them early in their life cycle. If you can avoid getting poisoned by them, the mush bloom's meaty texture makes a solid substitute for meat on days when the hunt goes awry. My savory mush bloom pie also makes a great Life Day meal for those species who tend to be a bit more herbivorous than your average Wookiee.
It's the Andersons. I'm currently reading a book called Disentangled Life about mushrooms, and every 3 pages, I learn something that makes me question reality. It's really cool.
Mushrooms are wild.
It's like in beef when they say you can eat any mushroom once.
Oh. Took me a second. I was like, why? Will they get mad at you?
I found out some mushrooms eat earthworms. Like, what?
Sometimes I wonder if a mushroom is actually a vegetarian food item.
It's definitely in between. So it's not part of the animal or vegetable kingdom. It's its own separate thing, third thing. But, whew, this book is fascinating. So.
Also, mushrooms, fungi feature heavily in sci-fi and horror.
They do.
Hey, I'm a fun guy.
You are a fun guy, Amy. Okay. Well, we have dessert, but we're probably not ready for dessert yet.
I'm going to go back and hit some more of the Minox.
Oh, yeah, do.
Oh my gosh, this bread is so good.
Thank you.
I'm just having it now. It's awesome.
I saw this bread on like an Instagram reel or something, which is normally one of the most cursed places on the internet. But this bread turned out to be a good thing.
Reels are just stale TikToks.
They really are. They really are. But this bread reel was a good one. Kevin, how do you like the food?
It has all been delicious. I particularly like the mush bloom pie.
You don't have to say that just because we're married.
It's just true.
One time, Kevin said to me that one good thing about going to potlucks is that it's a helpful reminder. He said to me that you're a better cook than most people. And that was like the best compliment I ever got in my
This
life.
potluck excluded. Yeah,
Of course. I'm glad the mush bloom pie turned out good. I will say, the recipe said to take like 2 pounds of vegetables, throw it in one frying pan, and cook it for 5 minutes. And I was like, that's not going to be good.
It's not going to cook anything.
So I
You went rogue.
I went rogue and I cooked everything for longer. And I also separated out 1 pound from the other pound and cooked them sequentially because that would have just been a wet mess. But other than that, pretty much stuck to the recipe. A little extra salt, too. Amy from afar, from the buffet, said, you always have to add a little extra garlic and a little extra salt. And we agree.
Super love it. I love the mushrooms in it. And I love the story about them being poisonous. It's awesome.
Does anybody want to talk about the blue milk?
I wish I knew more about the lore. So we decided to make some blue milk, which is adding blue food coloring to milk.
What are you talking about? I milked a bantha.
Wasn't that what was outside?
Exactly. Thank you.
It's definitely, there's no hormones in it. It's very free range.
I just imagined a milk your own bantha farm, like a pick your own apple or strawberry farm.
Milk your
They just have some banthas.
It is definitely still body temperature.
It doesn't get fresher than this. As a growing baby bantha, I need to grow it big and strong. Well, guys, this part of the meal turned out better than I kind of thought.
It's good.
Everything's good.
Good. I got seconds.
And I'll post a link to this bread recipe, too.
Yes, please.
that is good.
The world needs to have this bread recipe because it's very easy.
It takes an hour and a half to make?
Yeah.
Is it like that no need bread? But
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's no need, yeah.
yeah, that's the only bread I've ever made, and it's great. Nice. Yeah.
Or could I just give you $40 and you just make it for me?
We could just ask me for something and make it for you.
That is a very expensive loaf of bread, though.
Yeah, that's a lot of money.
The one thing I've never attempted to make is bread from scratch. I used to have a bread maker back in the day.
This bread and I have a milk bread recipe that are both really easy if you want to dip your toe.
Yeah. No,
I thought about
that'd be
bringing some hardtack because in this season of The Mandalorian, there's Imperial travel bread, which is very similar to many of the things we've talked about.
Oh, see,
in
I
the
just
podcast.
pictured the Limbus from
Exactly, it's
from
like that.
Lord of the Rings.
Always a travel bread.
Except
Teddy
when the
Anderson.
Empire makes it, it's like in like a vacuum packed cellophane wrapper. So.
The dog is snooting the pickled Minoc bowl.
This bantha milk looks like it should taste like peppermint, but it doesn't.
It can. I have peppermint extract, I bet, and I bet I have peppermint schnapps. Oh yeah, it'll be blue. It tastes like peppermint. It'll just be mouthwash milk. It is kind of body temperature because it's been sitting on the table for a
Yeah,
while.
Freshly milked.
It's not terrible. I
Well,
don't drink a lot of regular milk.
I love milk. Our bantha milk shot. Cheers. Little calcium. This is real milk too. None of that imaginary nut milk.
Steak milk.
Steak milk.
Boiled hard.
Parks and Rec.
All right. Well, you guys ready to roll out dessert? Okay. Get us some little dessert plates because we'll be fancy. And Michelle, there's your Wookiee cookie.
Oh.
So adorable.
Amy, your Wookiee cookie.
I'm taking a picture of this.
Look at their little mouths.
Oh, the detail on this.
So when I finished these, I was looking at them and I thought to myself, this is like a really giving more of like Wolfman than Chewbacca.
There's got to be something that you could do to give him his little bandolier.
Oh, I could totally do a frosting bandolier, but I was committed to the directions, and the directions said to give him a little face.
Or the glib.
Ooh, the Jogan fruit is so pretty. Well, actually, I guess they're not gingerbread. There's no ginger in them, but there is cinnamon and molasses. I'm actually glad you asked that, because when I was tasting that, I made 6, because I had to have one for quality control. And when I tasted it, I was like, this doesn't taste like gingerbread, but the molasses made me have gingerbread in my mind.
What flavor are these?
Oh, and Michelle, want to talk about your tea cakes?
They're all pink inside. It's great.
Yeah, it was some work to do that.
Pink and green.
Yeah, it looks like Cloud City Sunset or Dagobah. Or
It's the Muriel landscape, which is apparently pink and green. So,
I would like to go there.
yeah. Do I have to read this in the style of Ted Lasso?
You can do whatever you feel comfortable doing.
All right, it'll just be normal then. All right. But I'm thinking of Ted Lasso as I'm reading this. Okay. When it comes to the main course of any holiday banquet, you may have noticed that I tend to think big. The only real problem with serving up a hearty hunk of meat and endless parade of sides is that there ain't much room left for dessert once folks are done. As much as I love to assemble a full fleet of sweet treats to follow any feast, I also understand the need to pull back on the throttle now and then. I don't understand that. When something a bit more delicate is called for in the final approach, I rely on these lovely tea cakes to bring the meal home. They may have gotten their name from the pink and green desert planet of Miriel, but don't worry. I promise they ain't nowhere near as dry. Mm-hmm. Make sure to bake a big batch just in case your guests are hungrier than you thought.
Very good.
How do they get their colors?
So you have to divide the batter in two, and one side is dyed with pink gel coloring, which I've never used gel coloring before, but I did find some. And then the other side is dyed with matcha.
Oh, that's what the flavor is.
Yeah,
the color.
yeah.
I see. Yeah, interesting.
Yeah. And then you dollop into the little pans and swirl it. So, yeah.
Very cool.
But this is one of those recipes where you have to divide the egg into the yolk and the white. And usually when I get one of those, I'm like,
Me too.
But I did it.
I really
For the
like
art.
doing that.
I saw that if you use a empty water bottle, you can squeeze the yolk out. I saw a TikTok.
I do the old-fashioned Jamaican way where you just crack the egg and toss it between the eggshells.
Yeah, that's how I do it.
Yeah.
It's easier to do it in your hands, I've heard.
Yeah,
I've learned.
Yeah, pour it through your fingers, spread out a little bit. Yeah, I like doing the back and forth with the eggshell.
Yeah, and then you have to whip the egg whites.
Yeah, that's
kind of
where
tartar.
Yeah, that's where I'm like,
As soon as they make you separate it, it means some more work. is
yeah,
coming.
exactly. Okay, I'm gonna try this delicious fruit, the dragon fruit. I'm gonna bring it over.
I just ate a whole huge cookie. I don't remember the last time I've ever done that.
It's just a good cookie.
It's quality.
Wait, I'm confused. Did this cookie come out of the recipe book, or did you just make?
Yeah, the Wookiees are from the cookbook. And then there's also separately, I guess, like the original Star Wars cookbook was called Wookiee Cookies, right?
Yeah, the Wookiee cookbook. I
And
think.
Michelle, you had that. You told me about that.
Yeah, my sister bought it
Yeah, so
years ago.
funny thing when you told me my sister has a cookbook because you have a sister who's a published author. I thought that you meant that she created and published a Star Wars cookbook, and I was like, oh, and I went like flying to Amazon, and I was like, they didn't even credit her on this cookbook. I like got really indignant about it. I was looking for her name all over the page, and then I was like, maybe she just meant she owns a Wookiee
would be it.
cookbook. And I was like, that's kind of the more like natural interpretation of what you told me.
It was a classic back in the day, having that cookbook.
And this is dragon fruit, right?
It is dragon fruit, which I do not super love as I remembered when I was doing it. And you're supposed to melon ball the dragon fruit and put lots of it in it, but I held back on it. So
I have seen dragon fruits in stores. I've never purchased or eaten one. Nothing else could look more foreign than this thing.
Oh, yeah.
From another planet. Yeah.
definitely for the vibe.
Makes a really beautiful little bowl.
Yes. And also, just to show how dedicated I was, I bought a melon baller, which I've never owned before and never used before.
Melon baller is one of those things you never buy because you're like, how often will I use this? But then whenever you need a melon baller, you're like, God damn it, why don't I have a melon baller?
Yeah, well, now I'm going to be melon balling all summer because I own it.
Yeah, girl.
I spent $10.99 on it.
Michelle's balling.
I mean, seriously.
That's how I feel about my salad spinner, and I use it once a week, and I love my salad spinner.
I feel that way about a sifter, and as much as I bake, you would think I would just get a sifter, but I'm always like, no. And then every time I really wish I had one, I'm like, all right, this time I'm buying a sifter, and then I whisk all my flour through a colander. And then I finished it, and then I'm like, well, do I need a sifter?
I've had a sifter, this cute little sifter set, sitting in my for later Amazon cart for, I don't know, 2 years. Because every time I'm like, do I want it? Do I really need it? It's $10. I should have just gotten
I
a
will buy
freaking
you
sifter.
both the sifters since
Yes.
since y'all bought me
Seriously.
a nice can opener.
You need to get a sifter. I even have a sifter.
My other
Which I use, by the way, once a year to make that cake that you taught me to make.
The black cake?
The black cake.
Look how I've been doing fine for decades, like whisking my flour through a colander.
hot tip for bakers out there: if you if you're using whole eggs, if you put them through a sifter or a colander, it'll take off those like weird bits of the egg that don't always mix in well.
Human thing, whatever it is.
Yeah. Hot tip from me to you guys.
Okay.
Sift your eggs or colander them.
I'm going to go put together our parfaits, our Jogan fruit parfaits.
Oh, there's more?
Yeah.
What a feast. What a life day feast.
So the parfaits are supposed to include ube ice cream. The only ube ice cream I could find was salted ube s'mores ice cream.
Literally don't even know what that is.
Yeah, that's a lot of flavors.
Ube is a
Having a hard time picturing that.
purple tuber from the Philippines.
It's like taro, right? Probably.
I looked up the difference because it tasted similar to me, and
They're both
they're
purple.
I
both
do eat taro.
tubers. Sometimes taro can be purple or white, and it said that ube is sweeter and softer than taro. But yeah, to me the flavor is similar.
Yeah.
So I have that, but it's very like s'mores forward. It's the hot fudge sort of overpowers the ube. But it's good. And then I also got coconut because there's coconut gelatin in this parfait.
This is fun looking.
Yeah.
I like a purple dessert.
Yeah. Taro's great.
Oh, chewy.
Chewbacca?
Oh, it's a marshmallow from a s'more. That's why I was like, I didn't
See
expect
what
it to
you
be
did there.
chewy.
Yeah, thank you. Someone recognized it.
Oh.
Because his name is
Oh, I get it. I get it, you guys. I get it.
It's too late. The moment's gone.
No, I get it. It's funny. That's not my favorite texture that I've ever had.
Yeah, this is like an Amy dessert.
It's like a creme brulee broken up into pieces, you know?
I love a custardy.
There we go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Creme brulee. I like the ube flavor. I think it's pretty good. This is a Jogan fruit parfait, friends. Give me one moment and I'll tell you all about it. No matter what planet you're dining on, there's a solid chance you'll be ending your meal with a slice of Jogan fruitcake. This sweet standard is enjoyed from Coruscant to Lothal, due in part to the fact that the round purple and white fruit that serves as the star of the recipe is grown on countless worlds. But although there's certainly a reason that folks across the galaxy love Jogans, serving something so commonplace on a holiday just didn't feel right to me. But it also didn't make sense to leave a favorite out of the festivities neither. So I tried to capture the notes of the Jogan in a whole new way, layering it with sweet creams and jellies in this cool and refreshing parfait. Just like the holidays, this one reminds you of all the things you love while giving you an entirely fresh perspective on what's possible.
Oh, it's so profound.
Isn't it? It's like Ted's sign, believe.
This book has good copy.
So this is layered coconut gelatin and ube gelatin with what was supposed to be ube ice cream. And, I just did my best. We've got salted ube s'mores ice cream and coconut ice cream. And I didn't put whipped cream on it, which it did call for because I don't like whipped cream. So
No, it doesn't need it.
I didn't
Does
want to
not need
buy
it.
a thing of whipped cream or make Amy. Tell us, Amy. First of all, Amy, I would like to tell you that you don't have to eat it. It won't hurt my feelings. And then I'd like you to get up on that microphone and tell us what you're feeling right now.
The texture is unique.
Of the gelatin?
The parfait, yeah.
Amy doesn't like things that burst in her mouth.
This just feels like Jell-O to me.
It's
So no bubble tea for you.
No, but that's exactly what it tastes like.
No.
it tastes good though. So like I don't hate it. It's just I have to be very particular about how I chew it.
No. I don't know why. I'm so surprised that Lori doesn't like whipped cream.
I mean, I am too. But I just don't. I've never liked it.
No, just the logic of it makes no sense. But yeah.
Yeah, I don't like
You have to make it the right way.
Yeah, I won't like turn my nose up at. I will never add it. But if it's already like on something, especially if it's like fresh made whipped cream, I'll eat it. But like the stuff out of a can, no ma'am.
No, yeah.
No, ma'am.
Homemade
That's a
whipped
hair
cream
product.
is-
I don't want to.
Yeah.
Homemade whipped cream is a different.
With a ton of
Thing
vanilla
altogether, yeah.
and preferably some white rum.
Okay, so I just need to come have whipped cream at your house.
I made Irish cream whipped cream
Yum.
for something I made recently, and it was amazing.
Oh, yes.
So I like
that sounds
mousse.
amazing.
I love chocolate mousse. My mom used to make a Bailey's mousse at holidays that was delicious. But yeah, whipped cream, I don't know. It just kind of disappears into nothing. And
I like how it can, if you don't have it too sweet, It can be really good on sweet desserts because
On very sweet desserts.
it cuts the sweetness a lot. Like if you don't over sugar it.
Like if you were eating, for example, a butterscotch bread pudding.
Just as an example.
Bread pudding.
made by someone who was West Indian, so they put a lot of sugar in it.
I'd like to be eating that.
I never go out of my way to get it, but Dunkin' Donuts has this thing called cold foam, which is just rebranded whipped cream, and I love it.
So I
It's
got
got a
that.
different texture.
I got it at Worldcon, I think.
Cold foam?
I got a pumpkin cold foam.
Oh, I love it.
Was that yeah, that was in Chicago. Kevin and I went to Dunkin' Donuts because like whatever was the hotel Starbucks was just like a line a mile long, and I was like, I'd rather walk 10 minutes than stand in line. Like I don't know. Probably doesn't make sense from an efficiency perspective. But anyway, we went to the Dunkin' Donuts and I was like, I'm just going to go wild. And I got a pumpkin cold foam iced coffee. And it was the sweetest thing I'd ever tasted in my life. I actually couldn't finish it. And I sit here eating hot fudge all over gelatin and ice cream happily. And I was just like, oh, no, I can't do this. Yeah, it was not just foam. I feel like I wasn't given I wasn't sold the right bill of goods.
Yeah, so I get cold brew black with the cold foam. It's like sweet cream cold foam. I don't know.
See, that's when it's good, when it's like,
Yeah.
you have those two, like,
Yeah, 'cause-
slightly bitter, slightly sweet.
Yeah,
and then-
because
That sounds good.
let's go around and say how we take our coffee because I always find this interesting. I like a splash of whole milk and 1 sugar.
I like a splash of whole milk.
No sugar.
No, I don't really care for sugar in coffee, actually. I mean, I'll drink it, but my preference is just coffee with whole milk.
Just black.
So half milk, half coffee, and a ton of sugar.
So cafe au lait.
Yes, that would be it.
And yours is decaf, right?
I mean, as much as I can.
Yeah.
Just a little half and half. That's how I like mine. Usually at home, I'll like my first cup, I'll put some half and half in it. And then like the second and a half cup that comes after that, I don't add any more half and half. I just like dilute it with more coffee.
watering it
I water it down with
You're
coffee.
like, I'm going to give myself a warm up.
It's great.
Yeah, there's only one coffee on earth I will drink black, and that is at a restaurant that is now closed, The Grit in Athens. Had a special blend from Jittery Joe's, and that shit was good. Just black.
Man, I just got my dear friend Holly. Hi, Holly. She just gave me a bag of coffee for my birthday, and that coffee is so good. I don't have to put anything in it. It's like this Norwegian coffee, or I think it's Norwegian or Finnish. It might be Finnish because it
There's a Scandinavian coffee.
it was delicious. Whatever it is.
I can drink Blue Mountain Black. That's the only one I can drink black.
I can drink like Folgers black because it just is like water.
Yeah, I
I should say I'm a fan of Folgers too. I like a watery coffee. Like I like a watery beer and I like watery coffee.
I don't think people should sleep on Folgers, and Folgers Instant is really good.
I've been drinking Cafe Bustelo in the drip machine, and it's great.
I have little instant packets of Cafe Bustelo and decaf Folgers in there right now.
It's so good.
If anyone would like an instant decaf, I can make you one.
Yeah, no, even with strangers, I just think it's such a weirdly like cute personal thing, like how someone takes their coffee.
And everybody here at the table took it
slightly
differently.
different, yeah.
That's a fun icebreaker. Instead of like some of the things that they ask you in meetings for icebreakers, and you're like, "Have I ever seen a movie in my life?" And like asking you your favorite or something. Like I couldn't tell you, but people always know.
Every person I've ever dated, except for one, takes their coffee black.
Huh?
Which is interesting.
Really?
So I like bitter people. I mean, these look like little baby Yodas too.
Oh, so what happened was I did not evenly divide the batter. So I had extra matcha batter, so then I just made it in like little mini things.
They're cute.
Yeah.
So cute.
Yeah, it's a Baby Yoda themed muffin.
there you
Tea
go.
cake, not muffin, tea cake.
So
The
very
swirl-
matcha-y.
The swirl you got on them is really nice. They're very attractive.
I used a metal chopstick.
For a minute, I was like, "Is there spinach in it?" Because it's so earthy, but it's the matcha makes so much
It's
sense.
matcha, yeah. And it called for 2 teaspoons, which I thought was a lot for matcha, because
That's a
matcha
lot.
is so strong.
Yeah.
I've
I
never
would
used
have
matcha.
done 1.5 if I were to do it again.
But I think they taste good. I don't think they're overly matcha-y.
What was the other flavor?
There's no other flavor.
So
on
it's
the
just
other one.
pink and pink.
And pink vanilla.
Oh, so just vanilla.
And the vanilla was like half a teaspoon. So really, if I were doing it, I would have been like a whole teaspoon
Yeah.
of vanilla, a full cup of sugar.
I like a lot of vanilla.
Yeah.
I like getting to the point where I can like eyeball a recipe and be like, "This is wrong." Because like nowadays, I feel like I'm such an intuitive cook at this point. Like I look at the ingredients list, and I'm like, I'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
It's usually better because it's more onions, more garlic.
Right.
Yeah, it's
Less-
like the recipe is just like a guide.
Yes, it's like a
They're
skeleton.
more like guidelines.
100%. Especially for like things like soup.
Yeah, well, like,
it's like
baking. That's why I can't fuck with baking, because it's too precise. I don't have potential to detail.
baking is really interesting. Like getting to know baking is really fascinating because you'll see recipes online that you're like, that's not going to work because there'll be too much liquid in it, or there'll be not enough flour. There'll be like the proportions will be off, which is kind of interesting to be able to see. Not that I could then fix it. I just recognize it as
Add a little more flour.
Yeah.
These cookies
Bake it longer.
I think these cookies are drier than I like, and when I was making the batter, it would not come together, and I had to put like a couple tablespoons of water in to get it to come together. I mean, they're fine, but they're still drier than.
I didn't think they were
they're
dry
perfect.
at all.
Oh,
I didn't think they tasted. I mean,
This
that
is going to
kind
be
of
my
cookie-
breakfast tomorrow.
Yeah, that kind of cookie isn't a moist cookie.
No, exactly. You want it
I'd
to be.
like for you to eat more breakfast tomorrow, though, please.
Yeah.
Have that with breakfast, but
My Mother's Day special breakfast.
I want to take a picture
You'll
of
put
that
some
cookie
of
recipe.
the purple Minox in your purse.
No, exactly.
Mother's Day special breakfast is going to be a legless Wookiee.
Hey,
You
I already have my
make your-
5 daughters' donuts. They've already been brought to my house. That is my main breakfast.
You should have one of your family make you the Darth Vader waffles to go with your
oh
Wookiee
my
cookie.
gosh. I love
He
those
needs a leg
waffles.
story.
The Darth Vader shape actually makes your waffles nice and crispy on the edges. You would think it would be soggy, but it's actually a great texture waffle. Yep. More surface area, I think. I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like these are a good base cookie for a lot of things.
Yeah.
This would be good.
I mean,
Go for it.
I'm excited.
I love a ginger snap.
I just can't believe you did this much knife
Scoring.
work.
You just stab it over and over with a butter knife. It was a little fun.
It was like cleansing.
Yeah.
Why did you put red on their mouths?
Because I wanted it to be a mouth.
Yeah, like a.
Yeah, he's got a
Like,
big old
he is all, we had just watched Empire and he kept going, "Nah," and his like pink mouth was open with his little
Is his mouth
things.
pink on the inside? I just
Oh, yeah.
I picture his little brown lips.
No, he's very clearly got like a puppet mouth that's just
Yeah.
like red.
He's open. His mouth is open. He's talking.
Also-
you can see his tongue.
He's got the tiniest little throat hole. That nothing.
He's roaring.
He's saying something
So,
right now.
Also,
This is a say something mouth.
There are outtakes from shooting Empire Strikes Back when he's on top of the Falcon and Han's like, "What the fuck are you doing? Stop, stop!" And Peter Mayhew is just talking his lines in English, and it's just very weird to hear like,
Oh, I've seen
Chewbacca
that.
makes
Oh, that's
sense.
so
It's very
funny.
weird. He's like, "I'm trying to fix the thing," and he's like Cockney. It's very funny.
Have you seen the? I'm sure you have. Have y'all seen the outtakes? Or I don't know if they're really outtakes, but they're basically someone's doing Darth Vader's lines. The guy who does his body work is
I've
doing
heard
the
of
lines,
that.
and he's got this
Prowse, yeah.
very posh British accent,
and
and
he
it's
didn't
very
know
funny.
that they were going to record over him.
Oh yeah, he was just
Yeah,
like, "Oh,
he thought he was the guy.
I thought he was the guy.
He was not the guy."
That had to hurt.
There's also an outtake of just regular clips of Darth Vader, but from other James Earl Jones movies from the 70s, and it's very funny.
All right, guys. I think we're done. Do we have anything else to discuss?
Happy halfway to life day.
This was super yummy.
Thanks for joining us.
Oh my gosh, it was so much fun.
It was so fun, and we have to have you back so that you can tell us all about your books and
Did you tell
The journey.
the people out there where they can find your short story?
Oh, it's available on Amazon. It's called Hook, Line, and Sinker. 23 stories of grifters, con artists, and liars.
Link it up on the.
yes, we will do. We will put up a link. And where can people find you?
Oh, I'm on Twitter at Ann Harris and also writing for Nerds of a Feather. So find me there.
Are you just at Ann Harris, or do you have like an underscore? or
Oh,
something?
sorry. Underscore Ann Harris underscore.
So underscore at the beginning and the end.
Yes.
At underscore Ann ANN Harris underscore.
My kids made me do that so I wouldn't have numbers. It seemed weird. Yeah.
You know, it's good to have
There's
Gen
a
Z in your life.
surprising volume of Ann Harris's out there.
You don't say. All right. Is that it? Anybody got anything else?
I thought of an Ann Harris, but I don't think I did.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for joining us for this Life Day celebration. Excuse me, this halfway to Life Day celebration. And stay tuned for our actual Life Day celebration in November. Bye.
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 You go, girl. You go, girl. You go, girl. A hilarious podcast